Now let's take a look at the wall extrude feature. We use our little wall right here, wall number 5. We're going to go to extrude. And you'll notice that extrude, it puts out a little square along my line here. And so I've also got left and right info up here. Now I use extrude all the time when I'm doing countertops. Don't use it so often in walls, but it definitely has a legitimate purpose in walls too. Let's say we got a little bump out on the back of this wall for a window or maybe a closet, chimney chase, whatever's necessary. Use your imagination on what you want to bump it out for. But here I'm going to do 36 inches from the left. I'm going to hit enter on my keyboard. It's going to put me in 36 inches. Now as I move my mouse, now this distance here is 36 inches, so as I move my mouse, builds out this other wall. It also gives me a width and a depth. Now my depth obviously is this distance and my width obviously is this distance. And it also gives me a space which currently says 32 3/4. Now that space that speaking of is the distance between where my mouse is now and the end of the wall. So right now I've got 5 3/4 inches from the end of my little extrude line to the end of the wall, which is another handy feature if you know the distance of each end but not necessarily the distance across the middle. So I'm going to set my width at 48 inches. I'm going to tab down and set my depth at 24 inches. Leave my space at 40.5 because that'll self-adjust to fit the criteria I just entered. Hit enter on my keyboard and look at those funky little walls. So it cut the wall in the middle and added them out and about. So you can see how this would be very beneficial in countertops. It's also very beneficial when you're using walls some of the time. So, but it's a lot easier to do an extrude than to take all the measurements and do all the math and work this out as you're laying out your walls. So use extrude when it comes up. It's definitely a handy little feature.